Besties. Hi.
Hey, teacher besties, welcome back or welcome to Childcare Unlocked, where we talk about all things education from childcare to college. This background is a little different because I'm recording in my room today because it was a lot to set up, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just go ahead and record episode 15 in the room today, and then we'll go back to our regular setup next week. But our topic today is holidays in not even just the child care center, but in education in general. But I am speaking from the child care center because I'm in the early childhood education level. So I'm with your babies to pre-K. Okay. So first, as the holidays come around and how we just finished holidays, so like your Thanksgiving, your Christmas, and your New Year's, right? So we don't celebrate that many holidays, but at least my center tries to be as I guess diverse as possible. So it has let's start with January. So January has, off the top of my head, all I can think of is MLK Day, but I think that's in February. No, it's not. It's in January on the 19th. So we got MLK Day. We have 100 Days of School. We have Black History Month, which is February. Then we have Valentine's Day. And then we have St. Patrick's Day. We have spring break. We have end of the year. We have summer, Hispanic Heritage Month, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and that's pretty much it that I've seen celebrated, right? So, based off of being in early childhood, a lot of stuff has to be fun, fun and able for them to, it has to be simple enough for them to comprehend, right? And it's definitely, I guess, frowned upon when it's too intense, and it's I mean, because when you think of intense, you think of like graphic, you think of um almost like blood and guts type thing. Very graphic, very in your face, very like almost traumatic in a sense, is intense, right? So when you look at the calendar year, it is a little more holidays, but they're just not as like the bigger holidays. So the ones that I said were the bigger holidays. But I wanna know, like, what do y'all think? Do you think that your center or your school that you're a part of, do they only do like the major holidays, so like your Valentine's Day, Christmas, and maybe Thanksgiving? And sometimes Thanksgiving is still kind of like, because what are you really celebrating? But it is something to celebrate. But I think that's really what people be thinking, like, what are we really celebrating for Thanksgiving? But um, it's really something to celebrate with everything because it's the Jewish holidays. Because I don't want to say it and butcher the name, so it's the Jewish holidays that I know that's on the calendar year. It's Ramadan, it's Groundhog Day, it's President's Day, it's Labor Day, it's Labor Day, and then it's another day that's usually mixed up, Memorial Day. Um, so it's a lot of different holidays throughout the calendar year. But as a school, what do y'all think that we should definitely be celebrating to be as diverse as possible and be inclusive as possible, right? Because as we all know, it's January, what, the 7th? So we are a week into the new year, and we have the last decorations we did was like winter and Christmas themed, right? So we took those down, and now we're getting ready for we're not doing 100 days of school decorations because it's just a day, not necessarily like a season. So we're not doing 100 days of school, but we're gonna do February, so everybody's getting ready for February Black History Month. So I am a very pro Black history in every way, So like your Madam C.J. Walker and through music. So Billie Holiday, um, Erica Badu, all them different types of people, and of course they have music that's like it's just not age appropriate. But that's not what I'm talking about. We're not talking about the like listening to their music. We're not doing it. No, but just going through the history of like Motown records, like going through the history of how what they went through, um, in their state, they still prospered. They're still icons, and like the background of music, like the treble clef, the sopranos, the altos. So it's like you can go pick and choose from so much stuff, and I'm like I said, I'm very pro Black history, right? So I usually like to go all out, and some people would think kind of like intense because a lot of the people kind of like I feel like as a preschool, yes, it has to be on a child's level, and you don't know what their parents want them to be exposed to. So it definitely has to be as simple as possible on the child's level and still fun to, learn. But I see a lot of basics, as in we're talking about Black history, right? So we're going back more than like 2 decades ago. We're not talking about 20 years ago. 20 years ago, I was 1 years old. It was 2005. We're not talking about 20 years ago. We're not talking about recent. So a lot of these Black history is like Michelle Obama. We might get a Harriet Tubman poked in there sometimes, and then we have Barack Obama, we have Martin Luther King all the time. Okay, we have Martin Luther King every single year. He had more than just a dream. Okay, please. But I'm just saying, like, for Black History, we already have the shortest month in the year, okay? So the least we can do is do a little research ourselves and put out some better people. Like all of the Black icons and historians and ancestors and all the things, right? Civil rights activists, everybody deserves their props because they did what they were supposed to do, right? But doing that every year, you're not really teaching them nothing. It's like what I feel they like you're not teaching them nothing. Like you talk about Martin Luther King had a dream. That's all he did. Like that's all he did. That's all he stood for. You ain't never read the actual speech. Like you just talk about Martin Luther King had a dream, and then George Washington Carver and peanuts. Like that's it. Like that's all you got. That's all you got. Like some people will be spitting out Katherine Johnson every now and then, like act like they doing something because she can be associated with like math and space. But I just want in the education field for not just early childhood education, but even when I was in high school, it was the same thing. Like it was the same thing every year. Y'all put up the same pictures, 4 pictures on one wall throughout the whole school every year, and then you took them down, put in the box, and then wait for the next year to put them back up. You didn't do no research. There was no activities. There was no information about these people at all. There was no like that did not was not included in the curriculum throughout the school year or even just throughout the month. It was not included at all. So especially when you're dealing with like in an urban community, so you're in the inner city or even in the suburbs, and but your demographic is more African American, then like who gonna tell them? So who's gonna tell them? Like you have to be the the it's good to be diverse, but it's Black History Month, so we're not talking about diversity. So during Black History Month, representation matters. So making sure they are understanding the depth as simple as possible, because you can simplify it and you can make it fun, that they still are learning more than, your basic people, your basic lineup that you put out there. So um yeah, I think Black History Month should be amplified even more than it already is, because I know that the it might be in the works. I don't know if he's done it officially yet or not, but the president is trying to get rid of Black History Month in general. But I don't know if that's, in the works or not yet. But just amplified, and even if he does get rid of it, like, and like, we can still celebrate it, and we can celebrate it even more than February, just February. We can celebrate it all year. But representation matters for these young Black children to know more than just your basic lineup. Everybody is worth learning about, but you're just like containing them to this small little section of people, when it was literally goes back years. It literally goes back like BC, before Christ. Like, it literally goes back so far. And just me being a lover of Black history, I definitely go all out. I definitely go all out, and I usually combine Black History Month with Valentine's Day, so it could just be, mixed in, so I don't have to keep putting up decorations and taking it back down so close together, because Black History Month is all month, and Valentine's Day is just a day. So I usually combine that. But yeah, I definitely want to know, like, how are the holidays being portrayed at y'all's educational institution, because I definitely feel like it should be more amplified, especially if your demographic is more Black children than most, because, like, nobody else tells us but ourselves. So it's more people than Martin Luther King, is more people than Madam C.J. Walker, there's more people than Barack Obama and Michelle Obama. Like, they just, there was just that kind of just happened. That was like 2008. It just happened. We talking about the people that paved, like, that they ran so we can walk type thing. Like, we talk about them. They paved the way for us to be able to do what we're able to do now. Like, the people that was able to vote so we can vote now. Like, we talk about Rosa Parks, like, we talk about the same people every single year. Let's shake it up. Let's spice it up. Let's spice it up a little bit. Like, we do all these like scavenger hunts, and we do this and we do that for all these other holidays, but like Black History Month should be just as amplified as any other month. Like, we can still just have just as much fun. We can be just as informative, and it can be just as big as any other holiday. Because why not? Why not? Because I just learned, creating my Black History Month activities today, I just learned that the ironing board was created by Sarah Boone, and the last name is Boone. And I did not know that. I did not know that. I was like, wow, I didn't even know that, because it's like, Medgar Evers, Huey Newton, Shirley Chisholm, like all of these other different people that maybe the average person wouldn't know, but like, just doing a little more research to kind of compare, well, not compare, but pair their what the children do and see every day with the inventors, right? So George Washington Carver is a good person to put on the pedestal when in the month, because you can be like, okay, peanut butter, peanuts, all these different things that he created with peanuts. It's easy to pair, and it's easy to show them, like, who he was, what he did, type thing and pair it with something that they use or eat every day, right? But you just definitely got to get a little creative. You got to get creative because Katherine Johnson, people just knew about Katherine Johnson based off of the movie Hidden Figures. So other than that, I didn't know many people that knew about her. So it's so, but it's just so many other things like who invented water bottles, who invented cups, who invented, all these different things that we use in the day to day life. We can pair that with a lesson or activity in our curriculum just to make sure that it's still like relatable and simple enough for them to be like, oh, mommy used is the ironing board. Mommy uses peanut butter on my some butter peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right? So it's just stuff that they pair and they see in the day to day life that can be literally paired to a black inventor. And then like we can run with that because we're doing like a look-alike um for one of our activities. So we're gonna go through like a list and have their picture and then like a picture of them of the inventor and be like that's their look-alike, and then have like a description of what they did and then a description that will pair to from the child to the inventor like that. So we're um we're trying to do something different this year. I don't remember what we did last year, but yeah, like I just think a lot of the holidays are very amplified but in the education system, but Black History Month. Like I feel like there's so much you can talk about, there's so much that you can do, but I don't think the priority is there. Like, yes, everybody want to do, Black History Month is always the shortest. They always want to say something about it, but they don't never do anything to celebrate it. So, in the education system, no matter what level you are, early childhood education, elementary, middle school, high school, and even college, just expand the horizons because it's so many people to pick from depending on how far you want to go back. And even in the music industry you can pick from them too because they still paved a way for black artists, and really not even just black artists, just paved the way in music history in general. Because you don't, when teaching a lesson, depending on the age group that you have, maybe college, maybe high school, you can share a couple of the lyrics or something, but other than that, it's so much history behind every single black um person that paved their way through history for us to be able to have the opportunities that we have today. So it's very, very, very important for us to go back deep enough in history, right? So we can still talk about Michelle Obama, we can still talk about Barack Obama, we can still talk about Rosa Parks, we can still talk about Martin Luther King, but go back far enough for people to understand the depth and their greatness, right? So they just know that it's so much that black people have done. And we didn't just start in the 2000s with Soldier Boy and the stanky leg. Like our greatness goes so much far. We're so goes so much farther. We are so brilliant. We're so amazing. We're so intelligent. We're just like Einstein. So like we're amazing people, and our depths go so in different like avenues. Because as you go through the list of people, of the civil rights activists, as the inventors, as the musical artists, as everything, that like we literally conquered so many avenues that is just like it's crazy. It's crazy, and you don't know until you are taught. So just Black History Month, because we have that label for February, use that as a space, as a time to really do some research for yourself and your class, to have fun, have activities, have a learning lesson of the greatness and the depths of our ancestors and the reason why we're here today and able to do and be and talk and dress and listen to the music and have the knowledge that we have because of the people that came before us. And it goes, like I said, it goes farther back than Rosa Parks. Even though that they, like I said, also they're amazing, amazing um, people that paved the way as well. But it's definitely more people before them and it's more people after them. So just do your research, have fun with it, and happy Black History Month. I see y'all next week. Bye.